กาญจนบุรีสุพรรณบุรีกาฬสินธุ์มหาสารคามร้อยเอ็ดบุรีรัมย์สุรินทร์นครราชสีมาจันทบุรีสระแก้วประจวบคีรีขันธ์สามารถเพิ่มปริมาณน้ำให้กับพื้นที่ลุ่มรับน้ำเขื่อนและอ่างเก็บน้ำจำนวน10 แห่ง1 นาทีกับกปท.
บริเวณวงเวียนจุดเสี่ยงที่เกิดอุบัติเหตุได้ง่ายโดยเฉพาะวงเวียนขนาดใหญ่ซึ่งต้องขับขี่ด้วยความระมัดระวังเป็นพิเศษเทคนิคการขับรถเข้าวงกลมปลอดภัยยิ่งต้องผูกกันต่อจราจรอย่างเร่งด่วนให้วงกลมไปก่อนจากนั้นให้ถนนที่รถติดไฟให้แน่นอนและจอดรถขับเมื่อเห็นว่ารถว่างให้สัญญาณไฟแล้วค่อยขับเข้าวงเวียนโดยที่ระยะทางที่ต้องการไปทั้งสองคันที่เสียหลักจราจรซึ่งต้องควรจะเป็นโครงการขับ
Radio Thailand News broadcast from the Public Relations Department of the Royal Thai Government on AM 918, FM 88, FM 95.5 and FM 107. For advertising inquiries, please email us at radiothailand@outlook.com.
Welcome to Uniquely Thailand, a program that brings you the great history, places to visit, and fun activities to do from our beautiful ASEAN nation. From the majestic five-star hotels in the capital to simple mountainous resorts in the north, from the stunning plains and hills of the Golden Triangle to the white sand beaches in the south, Thailand has so much to offer that one visit is never enough. Thai martial arts Muay Thai is steeped in age-old traditions and is an important part of Thai culture. For Muay Thai professionals, Muay Thai is life. Muay Thai uses the whole body as a weapon and a shield. The fierce fighting style is thought to have been used by soldiers and also by locals protecting their lands. Long before it was a sport, Muay Thai was an important survival tool. Muay Thai is referred to as the arts of 8 limbs, and using 8 points of contact, the body mimics weapons of war. The hands become the sword and dagger. The chins and forearms were hardened in training to act as armor against blows, and the elbow to fell opponents like a heavy mace or hammer. The legs and knees became the axe and staff. The body operated as one unit. The knees and elbows constantly searching and testing for an opening, while grappling and trying to spin an enemy to the ground with kill. In the Buddhist year of 1238, the first Thai army was created in the northern city of Sukhothai, Siam being the capital. The recorded history shows that a need to defend the capital city was spawned by many wars being fought between neighboring tribes and kingdoms. The Siamese army was created to protect the government and its inhabitants within the city and surrounding villages. Soldiers were taught hand-to-hand combat and how to use weapons, as well as how to use the entire body as a weapon. Their training is what eventually evolved into Muay Thai. Learning the military arts of Muay Thai became ingrained in the culture of the early Siamese people. With the constant threat of war, training centers slowly began to appear throughout the kingdom. These were the first Muay Thai camps. Family practiced the art form for various reasons: self-defense, exercise, discipline. Monks even instructed at many Buddhist temples, passing down knowledge and history from one generation to the next. As Muay Thai became popular with the poor and common people, it also became a required staple for the high class of royalty. The 2 sons of King Khop in Pratit, the first king of Sukhothai, were also sent to learn Muay Thai at a training center. The common idea was that good warriors made great leaders, and this would prepare them as future rulers of the kingdom. Muay Thai trainers helped to develop fighting skills, mental strength, and self-belief. They passed on dedication, commitment, and passion. Masters bless students for safety, success, and to fight well. Fighters honor trainers with a dance ritual for every fight. The pre-flight ceremony also seeks to invoke protection for both the fighter and their opponents. Winning is desirable, but honor comes first. Win or lose, fighters congratulate one another and show respect to their opponent's trainers. Religion is strongly woven into day-to-day Thai life and also tightly incorporated into Muay Thai culture. The headpiece, armband, and shorts all have cultural and spiritual significance. Traditionally, these are blessed to provide luck and protection. Thailand has many superstitions and a strong belief in spirits. The Ram Muay, part of the Muay Thai rituals, pay respect to spirits. In the regulated world of Muay Thai, there are few practical fears on entering a Muay Thai ring. In the past, however, when fighters were going to war, divine blessings were much more significant. Military camps and temples were centers of Muay Thai training in the past. Monks often became Muay Thai masters, passing on fighting techniques and religious teachings together. There are many reasons children begin Muay Thai. It is rarely because of dreams of becoming a champion. Of course, there were some children who train in Muay Thai just for fun. Many Thai parents hope that Muay Thai can help families financially. Some, particularly in rural areas, see Muay Thai as being the only realistic opportunity a son has of earning money. Children from broken homes or homes in crisis sometimes find refuge at a Muay Thai camp. Camps can provide a stable and secure environment for children who would have few chances otherwise. For some children, Muay Thai offers a way to completely change the course of their lives. Children may skip their favorite activities at home in favor of training. Keeping up with a demanding training schedule along schooling is also tough. Once children have devoted their lives to Muay Thai, there are often few other options available to them. Parents who can afford it generally send their children to universities. Muay Thai offers an alternative path for poorer families. Although wealthy Thais may practice Muay Thai for fitness and fun, it is rare for a professional fighter to come from such a background. Many top Muay Thai fighters are from northeast Thailand, most having begun in modest camps with little high-tech equipment. These gyms are very unlike that shown in the video, with its numerous good quality punch bags and modern facilities. Fighters often need to succeed to be able to earn money, both for themselves and for their families. Although now a competitive sport, Muay Thai is still very much a means of survival for many fighters. Many Muay Thai professionals retire at a young age, unsurprising given the early age that many begin training and the number of fights they cram into their careers. In the past, retirement often led to hardship with few other skills. Ex-fighters often found it tough to find alternative work. With growing interest in the sports, many former fighters are now able to work by training others. Muay Thai has progressed significantly over the past 100 years. Due to the noticeable national popularity, it began to garner international recognition and exposure. In World War II, after formally being introduced to Muay Thai, foreigners named it Siam Boxing, as Thailand was formerly Siam. Soldiers from Europe and America would watch attentively as the Thai soldiers practiced Muay Thai amongst themselves. They were so impressed with the style of fighting that they asked the Thai soldiers to teach them the fundamentals and traditions of Muay Thai. As it became more popular internationally, the rules began to change so it could be better organized and governed like established sports, such as boxing. In the 1920s, rings were introduced to replace open courtyards, which ultimately led to modern Muay Thai. The first formal rules were introduced to the sport of Muay Thai after World War II ended. Fights were divided into 5 rounds, with a time limit on each. A clock was used to determine the length of each round instead of a coconut shell with holes sinking in a barrel of water. And major Muay Thai stadiums were erected in large cities throughout the country. Muay Thai fighters train many hours a day and often begin when they were 6 to 8 years of age. They typically take their first fight when they are 8 to 10 years old and may accumulate as many as 120 to 150 before they reach their mid-20s. Due to how physically demanding the sport is and how early the average Thai person begins fighting, Muay Thai fighters generally do not have long careers. Muay Thai fighters are known for their tough skin and ability to ignore pain and injuries, which are quite common. The fighters deal with everything from cuts and lacerations to the face and head, to broken bones and severe sprains throughout their careers. Today, Muay Thai is becoming very popular on a global scale. It was recently accepted as an Olympic sport, finally gaining its deserved recognition. Professional martial artists from all sides of the fighting spectrum agree that learning Muay Thai is essential for them to become an all-around fighter. As new training camps and gyms open around the world, Muay Thai will continue to grow in popularity. Uniquely Thailand will return next time with great stories and information about hundreds of other majestic places and awesome activities still waiting to be explored throughout Thailand, our beloved kingdom, the land of smiles. Thank you for joining us today. สวัสดีครับ
How to wear a hygienic mask. One, washing hands before wearing the mask. 2. Pull the mask to cover both the nose and mouth. For the side with the wire, it should be on top over your nose. The side where the crease is pointing down is the outside of the mask. This can also be the colored or metallic side. 3. A mask made of paper should be changed daily and discarded in a sealed trash. A mask made by fabric can be washed and dried in the sun for reuse. 4. If the mask is worn or contaminated, you should use a new one. And 5. In addition to wearing a mask, frequently wash your hands with water and soap, especially after coughing, sneezing, blowing out mucus from your nose, after touching public items such as staircase railings, buttons in the elevator, or doorknobs.